Welcome to KCM podcast. As we are here again, we have been doing our KCM podcast in Arabic, Kurdish, and now we have in English. So now I have a guest whose name is Khithir Abbas. Khithir Abbas, who has been working for the Yazidi community in terms of an international organization since 2015. It's very important to know about him. He's also an advocate person for the Yazidi community in Sinjar and other places of the world. Mr. Khithir, you're welcome.
It's a pleasure to come my first time I came to KCM studio. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Farhad.
Thank you so much. Mr. Khithir, people are curious about Khithir Abbas. Can we know about Khithir Abbas more, or could you tell us a little introduction about yourself, please?
Sure, Mr. Farhad. My name is Khithir Abbas Matwa. I'm from Sinjar. Actually, I'm working with the international NGO from 2017 until now. And also, we did many projects in Sinjar.
That's great that you have been working with an organization, and I'm sure that you have worked with some other local organizations. So how the people react about the support from the organization?
Do you know we implemented many projects in Sinjar, especially about, for example, about small business, small business, and cash for work in the area, because the people need more and more like same project in the area.
That's very important.
Yeah.
But Mr. Khithir, people are still like blaming the organizations that they have not supporting them like that much. So could you please tell us why the people still blame the organizations? And as we see that they have like working great and they are supporting Yazidi people like in a great way. So I don't know why people they just blame them.
Yeah, good question, Mr. Farhad. This is like by people they are saying about the support, because the international NGO, they are not like a government, they cannot coverage all the area together. And also some of people who are saying we didn't benefit from the international NGO, they benefited duplicated. They duplicated by other NGOs in the area.
Yeah. I was coming to the same question that you already answered some of them. How the people or how the beneficiaries they react about such grants? Like some of the organizations they give the grants to the beneficiaries, and after that, like after their projects like end, and then some of them they would say that we have some debts on us. Some of them they would marry their son. Some of them would like use that grant for some other special like uses. So how you as a person who works for the organizations, how do you react about such like scenarios or such people?
Yeah, do you know this is they depend on social economic. They are social economic, but some of them they cannot. For example, they are head of their families. They couldn't. For example, they need like a surgical operation. They need health care. They need education. For example, they don't have like a house. They want to build a house. Some of them they cannot like do their project successfully, because they need more and more fund from NGOs.
That's very good,
Yeah.
Mr. Khithir. So as long as you have been working with the organization and in terms of monitoring and evaluation after their projects end.
Yeah.
So if you give them the reports
Yeah.
about such like the sustainability of the projects hasn't been like achieved by them.
Yeah.
So how do like the donors, how do the like senior project manager, how the staff of the organization who are in charge of the projects, how they react about such things that have been happening again and again, and they don't get to their objective of the project?
Of course, the project manager also and donor they know this reason behind the beneficiary. They know some of them they are poor, they cannot continue and open their business continue. Also, what you mentioned that some of them still they are open their business, they are open and they are continue to develop their business day by day.
I think that there is somehow improvement
Yeah.
by the organization that they have supporting them. So, like, what do you think about the ongoing projects or progress projects by the organizations? Do you think that they will just go on, until when? Do you think how many years do you think that the organization will be here in Sinjar and to support the Yazidi people? Isn't there any alternative? Isn't there any option for the Yazidi people? What's the government of Iraq is doing? Is it a good idea to depend only depend on the organizations?
Yeah, the strategy of the NGOs, especially in Sinjar, until some of them until 2030, they have strategy. For example, not just in livelihood department, they have protection, livelihood department, and also healthcare, and some of them they don't have shelter also. Because the Iraqi government and Kurdish KRG government, they couldn't support the Yazidi community. They say we don't have fund, and also there is many reasons behind that. We don't have administration, Sinjar administration. Some of them they mentioned that from this reason the international community want to support the Yazidi community to build their life again after Yazidi genocide.
Thank you so much. So, as long as you were talking about the psychological support or PSS, do you think that the organization are doing their work correctly in a good way, and how the people are reacting about this? For example, whomever gets or after they face the genocide, it's something is certain that they will face many psychological problems like trauma and some other shocks and this stuff. So do you think that the psychological support that has been done by the organization in Sinjar is enough for the people of Sinjar?
They are not enough for all of them. As I mentioned, they couldn't cover all of them together, but they have strategy. For example, for future, they will cover day by day or step by step after they complete the community completely. Also, they need more and more help, because some of Yazidi complex south of Sinjar, also north of Sinjar, they need more and more, because some of them they are living in the camps. When they came back, return to their homes, they need more and more support. Also, some health clinic in that villages or that complex destroyed and damaged by ISIS, and if government cannot support them, should the international NGO they support them, and also they have a plan for that services.
Mr. Khithir, I'm sure that you have heard about the Yazidi survivor law. It's a law that partially the Iraqi government recognized the Yazidi genocide, and also that the survivors of the genocide they will be also supported psychologically, as one of their conditions.
Article.
So what do you think, that is that enough to be supported by the government psychologically as well, as long as the organization they will not stay in Sinjar forever? So one day they will just go on, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's the duty of the it's the responsibility of the government to take care of those survivors, to support them psychologically, to be with them.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this point?
Do you know the psychological support? It's not enough for survivors. Some of them they cannot build a house, for example. The economic situation is very bad. They are going through bad situation. They are poor. They cannot build a house. They don't have a capital, financially they are very poor. They cannot support each other. In this case, before we give psychological support to survivors, especially by international NGO, they support them now, but by Iraqi government we don't have any support until now. But they have to do many article in this law and edit some of them to build their lives again.
Very good, Mr. Khalil. I was going to ask this question. The Iraqi government, it's their responsibility to take care and to give the rights to the Yazidi people. So the government is neglecting the Yazidi people, it's ignoring Yazidi people. They don't care. Like what happens, we have seen many things, many scenarios, many events that have happened, and the government of Iraqi, in addition of the KRG, the Kurdistan Regional Government, they don't care about the Yazidi people, and they think that something is very simple what had happened to them by the ISIS. So what do you think that like why this neglect by the government? So why didn't they have supported them? For example, the compensation papers, like their operations.
Yeah.
They go, they do their papers, and no one helps them. And it's something is very like they say we will help them, they will give process, but there is no action. Just words without actions. What the Yazidi community, you as an activist in the Yazidi community, what's your response? What's your message to the government? How do you want to convey the message of the Yazidi community to the people?
My message to Iraqi government especially have to support the Yazidi community after this genocide. And also, they don't want to support the Yazidi because first thing, they are different religion. And the second thing, they say we don't have like a legal administration in Sinjar. And the third one, they, for example, there are many political parties on the ground. There are conflict among them. For this reason, they say the Sinjar district is unstable area. This is something bad for us. But we see the people in the area, they came back to their home. For example, now more than 11,000 Yazidi family came back to their town. Why they didn't support the Yazidi in this case? As you mentioned about the compensation files, they didn't receive any amount from Iraqi government. This reason behind, and also the big reason, the Yazidi community scattered, because some of them, they affiliated to many political parties, for example. For this reason, also Iraqi government and KRG government, they couldn't support him because they don't know how can, for example, from which gates they can go it and support the community. This is a bad thing for all of us, because some of them, they are affiliated with many political parties outside of Iraq. This is big reasons, and this is a threaten the Yazidi community in the future.
Definitely. We say that we criticize the government of Iraq, we blame them. Yeah. But for example, the government of Iraq is saying that they have planned and they have already announced some stuff that they will return the Yazidi people from the IDP camps, and they will just close the file of the camps, and they will just return all the IDPs from the camps in Kurdistan and some other like places who are still IDPs. So do you think that Sinjar itself, in terms of shelter, educational and healthy and some other sectors, is ready to receive all the number of people to come from IDP camps and just stay here? Is that easy for the government to just provide everything? That's it?
It's too huge. Many of people, they couldn't come back to their home again because there is no services in the area, no healthcare, no education services. For example, the most of their buildings, they are destroyed and damaged. They couldn't live. They don't have shelter. in this case, if they don't have like a good plan for returning, it's so difficult for them, because this is just on the media. They say they satisfy people came back to their home. But for example, if I don't have plan, how can people come to their area again? And also, how can they live? This is a bad, I think this is a bad news for Yazidi community. I see this, we can say the right time, but if the Iraqi government have a good plan, they can, if they support by compensation, for example, if they build their houses, renovate or renovation their houses, and also build a healthcare and open schools for the for people's working. There are many reasons. For this reason, some of them, or we can say most of people who are IDPs now, about 9 years ago, they don't want to come back to their area. There are many reasons behind that. For example, and there is international pressure. Yeah, by international pressure, they want to push the Iraqi government to help the community, because it's too late. And stable, Sinjar is stable now, but they want to build and renovate their villages and complexes again.
Yes, sure. But as we see that, like, the government is not helping the Yazidi people to return back from IDP camps to Sinjar, right? But we have seen that the International Organization for Migration, IOM, they supported some of the families. They brought them from IDP camps. They gave them some grant, some money, so that they can bring their family to Sinjar. And then we've heard that some of them, they stayed here, and after they received the money, they came here, they saw that the situation is not stable, they again returned back to Kurdistan. What's the reason behind that? What do you think that people just see that Sinjar is a horrible place? Sinjar is not a stable place for anybody to live. It's very complicated for the Yazidi people to live in Sinjar. It's a place of ghost, and if something is wherever they go, they think that people in Sinjar are afraid of getting out from their houses. What's your message for these people, and why these people are still afraid of being living in Sinjar or being lived in Sinjar?
Yeah, do you know the Yazidi people, especially in the camps, they don't have a confidence. They lost everything in 2014, especially, and also they want to came back. For example, they have a good services, they have a good administration. For example, from now on, we cannot live, for example, as a homeless. No one can come back to their home without shelter, without education, without healthcare. This is reasons behind. Some of them, they are working there. They have many opportunities. They have many vacancies there. For this reason, they want to stay there in that area. If there is services, as I mentioned, and the Iraqi government support them, and the international support all Yazidi community, because all Yazidi people, they are suffered from this genocide and destroyed many of Yazidi complexes and villages. If they have good plan, they will come back to their home again. And also, if they say just on the social media, just fake news, they cannot come back to their home. This is so difficult for them. For example, if I'm a head of family, if I don't have any salary, for example, any economic, how can I live? How can I build the future for my children? This, or there are many reasons behind the returning from the IDPs camp. Yeah.
We know that you are also advocating for the Yazidi people. So we and the audience also want to know about your advocacy for the Yazidi community and for the Yazidi like sufferings of the genocide. So how do you advocate for the Yazidi community? For example, you go to the seminars, conferences, you advocate through social media, and if social media, which platform, or like through like interviews with the TV channels. So how do you advocate for the Yazidi people?
Okay, do you know we advocate for Yazidi people more and more, and we participated in many conferences and workshops. Especially, we advocated them about, for example, we meet with many local authorities, with many administration about the Yazidi situation and what people, for example, what Sinjar people want, what the guarantee, what the warranty of people, Sinjar people, how can to come, what they demanding. These points we mentioned in each conference and the workshop and conference. We discussed many decisions about the Yazidi future, about the Yazidi problems, issues after Yazidi genocide. These or their reasons which I mentioned that it's so difficult. We have to solve these problems by dialogue. We cannot stay until we cannot stay until now. We want a justice for people. We want services. We want like a area, a stable area, come back to their area again and rebuild their life again, to living together. Because some of them they lost their families, some of them they lost everything behind them. This is so difficult, and also there is no, for example, Iraqi government, KRG government. They have to support them because this is small minorities. It will be extend, yeah.
Sure. So you mentioned that you participated in some seminars and conferences.
Yeah.
So can you tell us which seminars by the Iraqi parliament members or by some of the UN like agencies, UN bodies, like with whom you like did the participated in the conferences? Like were they in high level positions? Were they the authorities? They were in from Sinjar, like some other authorities, directorates in Nineveh. So with whom you like met and how you were just acting like an advocate person?
Yeah, actually, we went to a conference on Mosul with governorate of Mosul, Najm al-Juburi, and also we discussed about all Yazidi problems, what they want, and also why they don't want to come to their home. And also we described everything for him. And he said that I don't have like admission, and I cannot decide from my side, because if the Yazidi they have like one decision at that time, we can decide a decision to return from the IDP camps to their home. And also we discussed many problems, as I mentioned before, about shelter, about healthcare, about education, about psychology, about survivors network, about still we have more about 3,000 Yazidi kidnapped still. They are missing. They are in different countries. The Iraqi government, they couldn't do anything for Yazidi. And also we, from 2014 until now, we appeal day by day. Yazidi situation is bad, and we cannot live in Iraq because we lost everything. Yeah.
Your work is really appreciated and it's really inspiring. Everyone wants to thank you because of the work that you have been doing. Let's come back to the role of the organization in Sinjar. We have been seeing that the role of the organization is somehow being low they have not they haven't been supporting Yazidi people. They have, like the local organization, they haven't been getting funds from the donors. What do you think, like the reasons behind that? Why do the organizations, they don't get funds from the donors? And the support for the Yazidi people, like lately we have been seeing that somehow getting like very low and very simple. Some of the organizations, and even international organizations, they just withdrew from Sinjar. Like we didn't know what was the reason. So as a person working with the organizations, what do you think? What are the reasons? People want to know. People are curious about withdrawal of the international organizations from Sinjar.
Yeah. Do you know, after 2014, the international NGO came to KRG camps and supported the Yazidi community. And after that, some of Yazidi community, after coming back to their home, also the international came back to support them again. And after conflict of the Ukraine wars, this is affected, influenced the points here we can mention in some NGO humanitarian work in the area, because some of them, they left the area because they were also there and also need to support. And also many of Yazidi people, they are in the camps. This reason they focus on most of them in the camps, we can say 50% of Yazidi community came back to their home and supported. Still, the international NGO, they are supporting the Yazidi until now. And now we don't have any support by Iraqi government and KRG government.
I was like adding, do you think that the Gaza Gaza war between Gaza and Hamas and between Israel, do you think also has somehow impact on the not supporting or organizations to support Yazidis? What do you think about that?
Of course, they affected, and many of international NGO left the area. They went to Gaza, they went to Ukraine, they support people over there, and also still many of international NGO, they are working in Sinjar, and they have strategy. As I mentioned, they have strategy until 2030. Some of NGOs, maybe more. As I mentioned, as I remember, I heard about some NGOs, they have a strategy about that. And also they have a plan. As you asked me about the Iraqi plan, how can they return the Yazidi IDPs? They have working together, international NGOs especially, and also Iraqi government. If they, for example, they came back to their area, they have to do everything for them, because more of Yazidi, they are homeless. They don't have a house. They cannot live without house. If, for example, if we are one family, when we escaped from ISIS, now we are 2 or 3 families. How can we live? I don't have money. I don't have, for example, financial support. I cannot support my family if I don't have, for example, opportunities. Yeah, this is bad points for the community. If they support them, they will come back to their home. Yeah.
That's our life, Mr. Khithir, in as Yazidi community in Iraq, and it's very like 100% with your opinion and with your ideas that Yazidi community have suffered very much because of the genocide that was committed by ISIS, and many conflict issues, problems were happened to these minorities. Unfortunately, this is our life in Iraq, and this was not the first time that we have faced the genocide. It was the 74th genocide for the Yazidi community and how they were suffered from. I know there are many things to be talked and there are many topics that to be discussed.
Yeah.
But for the Yazidi community, it's the time is short, the space, everything for the Yazidi community is narrow. So what's the message of Khithir Abbas about the Yazidi people to the world, to the government, to the local organizations, to the international organizations? If you have a message to convey to the people, let us hear.
Yeah. Do you know my message to Iraqi government and KRG government? They have to support Yazidi community. They have to support ethnic, different religion, for example. And also the international community. They have to support the Yazidi. But if, for example, if we don't have like the Iraqi government or KRG government, international government, they don't have good plan for Yazidi, how can they return to their home again? If they don't have a good plan, I advise the Yazidi people in the camps especially, they stay there. They don't, if they don't want to come back again, because just fake news, just they are posting on the social media, we will do this, we will do that, and on the ground we don't have anything. This is a bad point for Yazidi community, and it will affect the Yazidi community when they come back and no without support. They have to support them because we are Iraqi, and also we are a part of Iraq, and this is our home. The Iraqi government, they have to take their roles. Yeah,
that's what we hope.
Yeah.
And you mentioned many important topics, many important points. Thank you so much, Khithir Abbas, for being with us today, to talking about your work with the organizations, to be working as an advocate person for the Yazidi community, and your participation for the like seminars, conferences, and other stuffs. The audience of the KCM, thank you so much for your listening. Our episode for today is finished. Thank you so much.